it's the game gonna test you. It's ups and downs. And so, like, you gotta be who you are at all times.
Jackson, Mississippi has experienced a spike in killings, with more than 150 murders last year, and about 4 in 10 remain unsolved.
We back. Let the people know, your name, I guess your profession, and I guess how we're connected, I guess, yeah.
Cool. Joshua Bailey, currently acting as a Case Analyst Paralegal for a Chapter 13 bankruptcy trustee. The trustees are appointed by the federal government, but the office and the employees are private. Crazy how I really got this job, it's pretty miraculous, if you will. Before this role, I was an enterprise rental-car manager trainee. I didn't really like that, so a lawyer walked in one day and I served him, gave him a car, told him I was looking for extra work, so he told me to email him my resume and he'll see what he can do for me. About a week later, I got a call, didn't know who it was, didn't know what it was about. They was like, hey, I was instructed to call to give you an interview. I'm like, bet, 'cause I'm trying to get out of here tomorrow. Went over there, interviewed, didn't know where I was, but I was being interviewed by the trustee, somebody appointed by the federal government. So he liked me, he liked who I was, so he gave me a job, a senior level job, and I was like, man, this is a blessing, Didn't really know what I was walking into, but it just kind of came to me. Getting in there, Chapter 13 bankruptcy is when someone has some type of assets that they're trying to keep, but they don't necessarily have all the money to, make the payments on. So what we do at the trustee's office is basically reorganize a person's debts, which include their cars, their houses, any other type of collateral that they may be trying to keep, truck, trailer, you name it. So basically my day-to-day, all day, every day, I'm on Microsoft Excel, creating spreadsheets with people's claim amounts, how much they owe to their house, car, unsecured credit cards, attorney fees. And that Excel sheet populates how much money that person is supposed to pay for a six-year term, sometimes 5-year. After that, we type up the paperwork, issue a court order, and that court order is then sent to the person's job, take that amount of money out of that person's paycheck, or even if the person is paying directly, we'll issue it straight to them, but it has to be court order first. On top of that, we analyze a lot of court orders and motions regarding creditors and how much the creditors are going to get paid. So sometimes creditors may object to a person's plan and say, he's trying to pay me $10K for this brand new Corvette. He really owes us $20K. So then the court comes in and they grant a court order saying, okay, it's ordered that you're only going to get paid $18K and not the $20K that you asked for. So really just a lot of legal work, really just a lot of paperwork, but anybody can do it if you're willing to learn Chapter 13. You do not need a college degree to do this job. All you need is the will to do it.
The will to do it and the connection to know the right person, basically. Overall, I mean, that was a pretty good overview in regards to, what you do. It definitely gave me a little extra insight because I feel like I knew your title. I just didn't know exactly what they had you doing every day. So I heard you say you're creating spreadsheets and everything. So like when you're saying Excel, like, did you have any experience doing Excel work before this, or like was it all just school, like just?
Nah, and honestly, in college, I didn't really learn how to create Excel sheets and learn all the ins and outs of Microsoft Excel, because that's a whole nother world.
It really is. Excel's deep, man. I use it a little bit too. And those formulas, man.
It's too much to remember.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
I actually had on-the-job training, so they actually showed me the things I needed on Microsoft Excel.
Gotcha. Okay. So, from you gaining this job, do you feel like this job has rubbed off on you in any specific areas of your actual personal life? Like, you say that you're reorganizing people's debt, so it makes me feel like if you're doing that for them, then it makes your everyday normal expenses like way more probably in depth and simplified. Like, yeah. So with that being said, like, are you creating, I guess, budgets in Excel for yourself, or like, would you say that you're just doing a whole different game plan versus kind of what exactly y'all are doing for y'all's clients?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm not that detailed to how I spend my money, because I'm young, I'm free, and I don't really got that much debt right now. Thank God I got my car early on, in college, so I done had it for a few years. It gave me time to pay my car off. So now my car is paid off, and I don't have that expense like most people. So it definitely opened my eye though to like in the future, like people be having houses and multiple cars, a lot of other assets, and like it kind of helps me see in the future a bit. Like, okay, whenever I get 10 years older, how do I want to handle my assets? I'm gonna get so much stuff that I can't pay for, and then jump in chapter 13 that's gonna protect my assets. But when you do that, it's like you have to keep the monthly payment up. And if you miss the monthly payment, Depot can take your house, the Depot come and take their car tomorrow. You're gonna be out of luck, you know what I'm saying? So
your ass out. You'll never forget that.
Right.
Promise you that. You will never forget that. So one question that I wrote down right here, I was just saying, like, from your perspective, just off the top of your head, what's one thing you feel like people assume or that nobody knows about your job? Like, whether that be good or bad. Like,
if I walk up to somebody and I tell them, well, I am a case analyst paralegal for chapter 13 trustee, the first thing that person would tell me is, oh, so you taking people's houses, taking people's cars. And it's like, no, I don't do none of that. I'm not the creditor. The trusteeship is the man in the middle. So we make it fair for the person who's in chapter 13 and the creditor. We're just the man in the middle, ensuring everything goes slowly, everything flows appropriately, and that everybody is paid accordingly. So that's all we do. That's it.
Middleman and overseeing, making sure it all goes where it's supposed to go, and relaying what information or data as needed.
Right. Yes.
Okay. I got you.
Analyst like a mug.
Yeah.
Right.
So on that note, I heard you mention too, this is legal work. So would you say it's an extensive amount of reading?
Very much so. Every day I'm reading pages on pages on pages of plans, orders, motions, objections. I'm reading all day long. I'm even compiling templates to be mailed out. So I'm also doing that at the same time. So it's a lot of reading.
So compiling templates. Yeah. So like when I hear that, it makes me think like, oh, so you're building dashboards and like Excel tables or SQL tables. But I feel like that might be a little step above.
I was talking about like a template, like if I had to type up a objection to a proof of claim.
Oh, okay. So you can use it over and over and over again.
Yeah,
I got you.
Put in the correct details.
I feel that. Okay. Editing, the names and like the client stuff. Okay, I got you. Okay. So based on your trajectory, you said this was a blessing, but I'm just asking to say, like, did you ever think you'd be doing something like this, where you're kind of working with legal and you're doing the documentation? And obviously, this is really good analyst work to have in the game at this phase of your career, kind of at the beginning. Yeah. Was just thinking about like your goals and like, did you ever see yourself doing this? And if you do have another job title in mind, what would that be? I guess.
Gotcha. I never in my life saw myself doing something like this. One, because I was never exposed to it. Growing up, I didn't know what Chapter 13 bankruptcy was or meant. I didn't know that a case analyst paralegal was even a real job. Like, what is that? So, I never seen myself doing this, but kind of glad that I landed in it because it opens your mind to a realm of possibilities. And you ask for a title that I also have in mind. I would say that this position is greatly equipping me to become either a compliance officer or an office manager somewhere. Either or, I would be 100% happy and fulfilled with either of those roles.
And they both pay you well. I mean, I've heard of both of those positions. Between those, your average day, 8 to lunch. How does that look? Like you're in the emails, going through all the emails, reviewing everything, or like how do you guys chronologically, order everything that needs to be more urgent or more pressing versus what's not necessarily?
So, put it to you like this right here. My job is a real interesting one because there isn't a one way to do it. You have to have yourself certain soft skills in order to be successful in it. And what I mean by that is you have to have good time management skills. You have to know how to prioritize your tasks for the day. Mm-hmm. You have to be very organized. I can't teach you that. That's something that you gotta have.
Yeah.
If you're not organized, you're gonna get overwhelmed, too much workload. You have to be able to tackle it all.
Yeah.
Then I would say also you have to have the will to do it, because one, you're going in here, you don't know nothing about Chapter 13 law. You're gonna have to learn everything about Chapter 13 law. You're gonna have to learn what all of these jargons and terms mean. If I tell you I want to surrender a vehicle, how are you supposed to execute that into our case power database? You may not know how to do that, but you're gonna have to learn stuff like that. To surrender a vehicle means that the debtor is no longer paying for it, they're giving it back to the creditor, so they're not paying this debt. That's what surrendering it means. So, it's a very specialized knowledge. It's not something that everybody knows or learns. I can give it to you in the span of a month. I would say I have audit reports I gotta go through regarding cases. I have to do case reviews monthly. I have an 18-month and a 24-month case review period. So at those times, I have a long list of cases I have to go through and review on a monthly basis. I also have these other reports that I go through monthly, such as plans completed but are not closed. That's when plan gets close to the end of its life cycle and it's time for the closing process. At that point, I would submit paperwork to the court asking for their job to stop taking money out of their paycheck. That has to be court ordered. So I would type up that document, send it over to the court would order it, send it back, and then we issue it out to the appropriate creditor. Also, whenever a person is paying a mortgage in their Chapter 13 bankruptcy, we're not always going to pay a person's entire mortgage. So we have to stop paying it on a particular month, create a template to say, hey, we're no longer going to pay your mortgage. You need to start paying your mortgage starting this month. We send that out to the appropriate people. We also constantly answer phone calls from debtors, creditors, and attorneys regarding information on the claims and cases. So constant communication in email with attorneys and creditors, constant, it's constant correspondence all day, every day. While on top of that, timely doing everything in a timely fashion, prioritizing what needs to be prioritized. So you kind of learn the important stuff along the way. Like you have to gotta get your feet wet. Right.
And I was just about to also ask, with, you giving the explanation, you're basically saying at any given point in the day, you could be doing any of that.
Most definitely. Yes.
So you would describe your role as a very fast-paced environment.
Very fast-paced, yep.
Gotcha. Okay, awesome. I definitely appreciate that overview because, like I said, that definitely gave a lot more clarity. And then the month breakdown, it makes a lot more sense because I can definitely see now, okay, every day you kind of are doing whatever comes your way, right? In the timely manner and needed. Like if you know for sure this is urgent, you're gonna obviously stop what you're doing and handle that immediately. So I feel that. Okay. Outside of the daily things that you have to deal with, what would you say is the worst thing about your job? Like
the worst thing, and also the best thing. I know that that's kind of oxymoron, but the worst thing is getting on the phone and it's a debtor who's unhappy about how much money they're paying into their bankruptcy. That has nothing to do with the trustee. That has nothing to do with our office. But they have a lawyer whom they can call, whom they pay to represent them. So they get on the phone with us, hollering at us as we're the bad guy. And we're the middleman trying to make sure that your bills get paid.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the hard part, is trying to empathize and deal with a rude debtor who's on the phone talking about stuff that they have no knowledge of. The best part about the job is getting on the call and saying, ma'am, I have some great news. You no longer have to send us another payment because you completed your Chapter 13 bankruptcy. And they be crying, hollering, oh, thank you, G. That's the best part of the job, is to make somebody happy and help them. Like, that's the best part.
Gotcha. So would you say that's how you measure a good versus bad day? Or what classifies success? So what does success look like in your current environment? obviously everybody there is looking to make money, but I'm just thinking of like what classifies you as a top performer, like what.
Gotcha. So basically, as the analysts are responsible for, and what that means is when somebody enters Chapter 13 bankruptcy, their lawyer and our staff attorney are going to have to sit down with them and talk about everything that they're going to pay for in their plan. After they have that conversation, it gets into our hands, the analysts. So our responsibility is to take all of the proof of claims that come in on this case, properly keep them in, and confirm this plan, compiling that spreadsheet, attaching it to that plan, sending all that over to the bankruptcy court, having the judge look at it, having the court order it, send it back. On Tuesdays, and today just so happened to be a confirmation Tuesday, it's going to be one Tuesday out of every month where all the analysts do for the whole day is confirm plans. That's what I did today. I sat down, had a long list of people who just got in bankruptcy, had a long list of these, and I had to go through them and see who's ready to be confirmed, compile these plans to be confirmed, and send them over to the bankruptcy court, get them ordered. That's how we get paid as a trusteeship. How many plans have you confirmed this month? That's how we get paid. Success would be an average of me confirming 20 plans in a month. That's an average, but it's always fluctuating. You can't control how many people are going to jump into Chapter 13 bankruptcy. So
Exactly.
It's a variable. But that's how we measure success, but that's how we get paid.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Would you say your job has a good work-life balance? Like when you leave, you're off the clock, like you don't have to worry about
taking work home.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we definitely have a great work-life balance. You don't take work home after hours. 8 hours, 7:30 to 4:30, or you can come in 8, leave at 5, or you come in 8:30 to 5:30, however you want to do it. We got a new boss, a new trustee, and she was talking about she's going to start making our job kind of hybrid, so we can do some work from home and come in, like maybe come in twice a week, stay home 3 days, or opposite vice versa. So I would say we definitely have great work-life balance.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. I mean, it sounds like you don't really need to be in the office with somebody over your shoulder for you to be able to do that work. I mean, that sounds like that's more...
However you can do it.
Yeah, but to be honest, if you're able to be more productive at home, it makes more sense to not be in the office, to be honest. If you know exactly what to do. I can see why you would need to train in the office on something like that, because that, you need to really watch them and like hear them talk to people and all that when you're learning how to do the job. In regards to the money, that's the part I feel like everybody want to hear. And I mean, you don't have to go obviously to the cents, but I was curious on, if you know a median salary range for your job, or like can give more color to like what somebody could expect starting out in this role, and then on that same note, what you could expect to be, doing this role for maybe 4 or 5 years. Like, is there a difference? Like, and then if so, what difference do you feel like that would be like?
So basically, I'll tell you this right here up front. When I first got the job, had no idea what I was walking into, so I kind of put my foot in my mouth in terms of salary, and I've learned since. But I accepted, I actually asked for a low amount compared to what I was supposed to get paid for that job. But I was cool with that, considering that I was leaving the job, and I was like, I'll take a comfortable salary right now, just to learn the role. But my job is basically a case analyst as well as a paralegal. So you kind of cross-train doing 2 roles at once. So that should tell you, one, boom, okay, higher dollar. Secondly, this is a specialized knowledge that not a lot of people have that takes some time to train and learn. So that also puts you, a bit up more. You can say now on BLS.gov, Bureau of Labor Statistics, a paralegal entry level would be $56,000. That's for a paralegal. But I'm a case analyst paralegal, so the entry would be about $58,000, $65,000 in there. And then of course with experience and bonuses, it just snowballs from there.
So you're thinking maybe somebody with 5 years of experience probably sitting around 85,
Most
like
85,
90.
85, 90, oh God, yeah.
That's what's up. Okay. In regard to, like you said, next steps, you were saying office manager or compliance analyst. With you stepping into this position, obviously, like I said, you're targeting something else.
Yeah.
But I was curious for the people watching, do you have maybe any advice or any hurdles that maybe you went through that you knew for sure at the moment when you were going through these, you're just like, man, if I would have did such and such and such, I wouldn't have had to deal with it. So like, I'm just thinking about like gems or just not necessarily shortcuts, because we don't want to give nobody a shortcut, but at the same time, if there's
a quick way.
If there's, problems that you don't have to avoid,
Right.
I mean, that you don't have to go through, obviously we want to avoid them. So I'm just thinking about, like, from your perspective now, is there anything you can think of right now to, like, maybe say, like, hey, if you are looking to become an analyst, maybe don't do this, or maybe you should do this in order to help your situation?
No, that's going to be kind of tough for me to answer, because prior to getting this job, I had experience in a few other serious roles. The first serious role I got was I was a national recruiter, recruiting government employees for government entities, which is a big time fucking job. Like, that's a big time job. So
Very true.
Getting that experience and then jumping to enterprise rent-a-car, where I'm training as a manager and I'm gaining customer service and selling cars and selling insurance packages and things like that. Coupling that experience and you got a college degree, it makes you more marketable.
Facts.
Right, it makes you more marketable, and it makes employers more willing to hire you. Of course, I'm young, so employers don't really want to hire nobody young for real, because you ain't got no experience. It's going to be hard to get experience until you get out there and get your feet wet. You're going to have to start somewhere.
You gotta start somewhere. You have to start somewhere. Overall, man, we just here. We're trying to provide gems so you guys can explore and find other opportunities maybe that you wouldn't have thought about had you not watched this podcast. But really appreciate y'all time. Appreciate your time, fam. Looking forward to your future continued success. We finna play a game of chess, guys. So we'll get up with y'all next time. Peace.